Never seen a Thor News video before. I am your planetary defense commander, and I have been since around April 23rd, 2014, when I felt we needed to avoid World War III due to John Titor and other people's advice throughout history. And then after we avoided World War III in 2015, I felt it was my job through Asteroid Fight Club to help get everyone ready for the crazy fucking year that would be 2020. And so now we have made it through the deepest parts of the dark winter. And I have done my job well as planetary defense commander. World War III has not broken out. Civilization has not completely collapsed. Super hurricanes have not driven over our biggest cities. And no major asteroid has hit us in the face since the 2013 Russian asteroid. And putting out information onto the digital media social networks has been very interesting over the last 7 years, where some of the digital lords can pick and choose the winners and the losers and what people see and what people do not see. But I do know that I have done my job well for 7 years, especially in the weather and space weather department. And though they only allow a handful of people to be publicly famous, technically several of us are sub-famous in the weather and sub-weather department. And so it's like, since I was a kid, I have been hearing about prophecies of the world and what will happen in the future. Well, it doesn't matter what your job is, what you do, or what you've done in your life. Almost everyone has some type of crazy, wild idea of what might happen in the future. Now and 20 years from now, 100 years from now. And in the mid-'80s, it was popular for everybody to take a guess what was going to happen in the year 2000. Because the year 2000 was a pretty big deal, man. Like, people were looking forward to it for 1,000 years. And then it came and went, and we've been in the 20-year aftermath ever since. And so, one of the cool books I picked up along the way is called Millennium Prophecies. It was written in 1996. It is fascinating. It covers abroad many terms. And it has an entire chapter dedicated to the Aquarian Age. And I think a large portion of society just took a larger step into the Aquarian Age as Saturn and Jupiter combined in Capricorn, the constellation, in 2020, December 2021, 8 years after the December 2012 Mayan doom moment that we all survived. I don't know, though. There are ladies out there who have suggested every single one of us died in 2012. And if that is true, well, let's still try to have some fun and enjoy life. And so I started writing movies as a young kid. And so from like 13 until age 41, all I did was like write movies, have fun, live life, live experiences, work tons of jobs and odd jobs. And then when I hit 41, I was like, I'm just going to make 4,000 videos, use all my skills I've combined up into my 40s through studying filmmaking in my video making. And when I started Thor News, I had no idea that I would end up planetary defense commander a few years later. But I'd written action movies since the age I was like 13. So I had no idea what the future was going to be either. So I took educated guesses in all my movies of where we could go. So I wasn't surprised when it happened. But now that we made it through 2012 or 2020 and where the world is going to go next, I do not know. But I know that I've done my job during the time that I signed up for. To go from 2014 through the dark winter of 2020. And I don't know what's going to happen next. The entire world is going to be adapting and changing at rapid levels for the next 3 years. as we continue to transfer into a digital age. The fiat currencies, paper money, is like an old 2,000-year thing. And then we're now going into a digital money world. And so that is going to be like a huge proponent of the richest Wall Street marketing financial sellers are going to be giving people bad information so they can front run pretty much everybody all the time because that shit is fucking legal. Like everybody's in a limited liability corporation now, so technically nobody has fucking responsibility for anything these days in a grander collective sense. At least that's kind of what it feels like. Oh, so yeah. And my dumbass, when I was like, hey, I got an idea. What am I going to spend my 40s doing? It's like, I'll be Planetary Defense Commander. You know, give everybody good morning Vietnam updates every day, helping us all keep it together and tell everybody what fucking minor major disasters we might have coming next. We need to prepare for or avoid. So I don't know, you know, after 7 years of doing this, I don't know what my life is going to look like 1 year from now. And technically, I don't think you know what your life is going to look like 1 year from now either. So I'm mentally, physically ready to adapt. And I've been in a foxhole for 4 years. Out of the 7 years that I've been doing Planetary Defense Commander and 8 years that I've been making Thor News, I pretty much stayed most of the time in one spot and just edited videos or crunched the data and did research. So I'm definitely ready for a change after being in foxhole for 4 years, in lockdown for 2 years, and standing in the middle of town square digitally. So any dipshit can throw his angry opinion at me if he so chooses to, and my eyeballs somehow read across his words. You can feel anger in people's sentences. You can feel, we learned how to write when we were younger, and then you can actually describe all the things that are in the world and then pass them on to other people. So if people are good enough writers, you know exactly what their emotions are. But they can try and trick you if they're trying to pre-sell you emotions, like if they want you anger and hate and confusion out of you, just so they can have a divide and conquer, power grab, vacuum swab, then they might just try and hit your buttons with emotions. I'm talking crazy now. I know. Because technically we're going to be talking about the three Abrahamic religions, the three main religions, like the three main superpowers. We're talking about big picture stuff here. And my dumbass is like, okay, dude, I'm just going to do the best I can. Hope I do a great job. Hope it all works out. That's the type of guy I am. And so I do a fundraiser at the beginning of every fucking month. It is not, you know, it's a weird deal. And so, like I said, it's now March 2021. And I got a fucking car that if I can raise enough money, I got a used car that I can go pick up. And so I can at least spend part of March and April driving around. I ain't got to be around people much, but I plan to just get out of this foxhole that I've been in for 2 years and drive around. So it is definitely in my own personal best interest. After kicking ass completely for a fucking year, I did great, I think, last year. And the plague sucked, bro. And so what I'm saying is, dude, I don't know, I don't even know how long I'll be able to do this or do this. I would like to do Thor News through the next solar maximum. But life is complicated. And people are always trying to control the narrative of all times. So we're talking about the Aquarian Age. So I guess I'm just telling you guys that I plan to, over the next 3 days, I plan to act like Ides of March. It's the Olympics competition, and this is going to be the first time that I'm going to try to totally just be like PBS and stay on the fucking air for 72 hours going, I got a fundraiser. Because, man, I got like a month and a half before hurricane season, so I would like to have some fun over the next month and a half. And I'm always prepared if half the people on my YouTube channel leave tomorrow. That's always a chance. Like, my style will always be changing. But I'm still going to stay the same. So yeah, 1996, we're talking about going into the Aquarian Age. Apparently it's going to be a big deal. And everybody's got an opinion. Part of the thing about being an adult and just being an adult is you got to figure out how to make your opinion interesting when you talk to people. Whether in person or on the internets, you have to figure out how to convey information well and in a way that people like. It's part of the thing. And I'm pretty good at it. Oh yeah, let me go back to the other thing I was going to try and say. So to me, before I got into the truth community, making videos, putting my opinion out there were two other dudes that were big. And that was Alex Jones, most of y'all heard of him, and a guy named Dutch Sinks. And so I got a ton of conspiracy theories about Alex Jones, who ended up making like $54 million a year at his channel before he got taken down. And I'm telling you, I can't even raise $17.77 in 1 month, barely, in 2021 after putting out 1,000 videos in 2020 with good information. Alex somehow figured out how to make fucking $50 million a year, pissing everybody off. But making man ask, would I have sex with a gay frog? It's a very interesting question. I mean, what if you dated the frog for like a decade? I'm going to try and tell some jokes. But the point is that though Dutch and his message have sometimes swayed in and out of political messages, the fact that Dutch has stayed on record, on volcanoes, on point, teaching like, no matter what, I'm here to talk to you guys about earthquakes. So that Dutch has still been like one of the best examples of what a guy like Dutch is sub-famous. I guarantee you the amount of people who know the fuck who Dutch Since is, he's not perfect and doesn't always get everything right, but the things that you can do if you're going to walk the middle road of just trying to talk about science and things that are going on, Dutch has done a pretty good job on earthquakes. Though society's ability to up their natural disaster preparedness has fucking sucked. And that is no small part because our limited liability global corporations who technically signed a piece of paper said they're not responsible for you. That unless they build a giant tire that's going to be blown over and kill your grandmother, that unless it's direct causation, they can pretty much do whatever they want to you and are not responsible for passive stuff that cannot be proven in basic law, which has created a super fucking weird, dangerous situation in 2021. So the age of Aquarius is a big deal. And technically I want everybody to work together peacefully. I just thought world peace would be great. The Aquarian Age is brought to us by Millennium Prophecies. Has the dawning of the sage sounded the death knell for Christianity? Hey, I'm a Norse Christian Jedi. And I was obsessed with the book of Revelation and the Bible since I was a kid. And I got confirmed where you got to go to class to learn about your Lutheran heritage, about how Lutherans were like, hey, Catholic Church, y'all are totally fucking up. We're nailing 100 new rules to the door. You don't have to follow them. They're definitely suggestions because the Roman Catholic Church was super powerful. You had the Ottoman Empire and the Roman Catholic Church, and like everybody takes both those things and then just dilutes it down into some weird fucking M&M, conspiracy M&M you can eat. Man, I know everything about everything that happened. I watched 12 YouTube videos. And yeah, it's ironic when I say that because I make YouTube videos. But so that, yeah, we should definitely be able to have a co-Christian conversation. And so part of my obsession and part of the reason I bought this book, you know, like along the way, because when we used to buy books back in the day, I used to buy books on the book of Revelation. I used to love books on prophecies, the future, what might happen, what other prophets have said, Edgar Casey, like the things that need naturally the young boy mind towards volcanoes and UFOs and jetpacks and beautiful women from other planets. Like, that's natural for us to continue to want to learn and learn how much we do not know by new things we learn about this world. So, in my own personal way, yeah, dude, all my movies have a Christian good guy influence. Like, at some point, there's a Christian good guy and good gal who come along and help the world, and we get into 1,000 years of peace. It's like we have the future. What are we gonna do with it? Well, 1,000 years of peace sounds great. We treat each other, the planet, the animals, well. We build cool stuff. We have good times, great music. And we protect the planet. And if angry aliens ever show up, we put up the best defense we can. And so making money has never been my goal. Getting us to this 1,000 years of peace, that's what I've tried to do with my life. That's why I was crazy enough at age 41 to be planetary defense, or around there. I spent my 40s trying to be planetary defense commander, keep the world together and get us moving into a good direction. And that everybody I know has been some weird prophecy millennium expert their whole fucking lives. And everyone's always giving out bad opinions, so we have no room for conversation. But in this lockdown scenario, where I talk to you, the camera, every day, almost. All I can do is monologue, and so for the next 3 days, I guess that's what I'm doing. Embracing the philosophy of the New Age may be our only defense against the horrors of the apocalypse. Right? So I have been here trying to prevent the horrors of the apocalypse pretty much since I was a little kid. Like, shit, man, they all told us the horrors of the apocalypse are coming. And is this the death knell for Christianity? And some people will be like, hey, man, Albert Pike says, yeah, there's a giant death knell for Christianity coming. And that, so no matter what, everybody's had some weird fear of the future that is locked in with pre-notions. All right, so part one in the Age of Aquarian chapter, we start with Madame Blavatsky. To celebrate Women's History Month 2021. And the first lesson we learned, I guess, was you can't make jokes about Taylor Swift. And if you are going to tell jokes about women or people, try not to ever make them mean. The Aquarian Age, Madame Blavatsky. Here's her face. In 1888, hot damn! That is a year I mention to us all the time. But see, like I said, this book, like apocalyptic weather. Natural meets the supernatural. You know what's weird now that I think about it? Plagues and the Black Death. Changing magnetic fields. Comets in collision. Earthquakes in diverse places. And yeah, like other people in the truth community have done some good work in weather and space weather, but then everything got fucking political and then like digital competitive, where instead of just having a giant group like the 70s rock and roll scene, we had like the Beatles and Janis Joplin, and you had Rolling Stones, Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, Jim Morrison. You had so many amazing, like you just had all these creative people who were doing the same thing. It's become some weird American Idol situation where like only one or two or three the gold, silver, and bronze medalists get to talk, and somebody to choose those fucking people. The Earth strikes back. So Earth changes in the Age of Aquarius. All right, hold on. We're going back to Women's History Month. And shout out to my mama and all the women in my Viking Lutheran Viking family. They were amazing, incredibly smart, incredibly well educated, and incredibly experienced in many things in life. I've been raised by, and my grandma, Nana, I've been raised by really smart, really strong, really funny women who, were great cooks and cook way better than I do. Although I'm a decent cook, dude. Man, did I not put a lighter there? So that's exciting. So for the next 3 days, I'm going to go crazy. I'm a fundraiser. Maybe the spring and summer is fun. Maybe I get to drive a car. And maybe I get a little vacation before fucking hurricane season. Maybe I don't. Maybe bad guys win. Or maybe bad guys don't win, but this is no longer my job anymore. I'm ready to adapt to the future, man. But I'm still trying to prevent the fucking apocalypse. Asterisk, Armageddon. Because apocalypse just means the uncovering or the unveiling. Etymology. It's big. The true community seems more focused on Germanology or the numbers shit as opposed to I'm more of a words, pictures guy. In 1888, when I said the entire New World Order economy began, dude, the dollar, the petrodollar, there was a mark of the beast. It's probably the petrodollar. Helena Petrovna Blavatsky, the founder of Theosophy, claimed that Lemuria was the home of the third root race. Oh shit. Back in 1888, they were talking about that subject of race. And apparently that has been a volatile subject that causes fights and arguments all the time. HPB, as she was known by her disciples. And so let's bring this back to even the whole, the cult aspect that is really real. There's a cult, there's a culty cult with the guy that said he figured out the end of the world, the Heaven's Gate people and the Nikes. That helped kick off Self Footwear. He had a cult for 30 years, and at the end he was like, well, it doesn't look like the world's going to end on my watch. We are going to hit the rapture, so we're going to take ourselves away with this comet. And then you've had other weird culty things, but right now economics is a big cult. You have gold bugs or oil bugs or Bitcoin bugs or political bugs. And you had to join a group to kind of survive. A group of people who kind of agree with you on some crazy shit of how this world works and what's going to happen next. HPB, as she was known by her disciples, was born in the Ukraine as Helena Petrovna von Hahn, the daughter of a Russian army officer of German extraction. In 1849, she married General Blavatsky, the vice governor of Yerevan, but soon afterwards took to wandering the world. So we're talking 1888. The cusp of electricity going global, cusp of the automobile. So imagine the Book of Revelation was put together and put out in the year 70 AD. So people have been taking their guesses at what's the rapture and New World Order and what had end times and apocalypse and Armageddon. People have been taking their guesses for 1950 years. But I wake up and every day I'm a screenwriter. And that I don't know what the future's next, but I understand the power of positive thinking. And as a boy, I'm dreaming about getting married someday and flying in spaceships and jetpacks. We're talking about big picture stuff in the Ides of March. Remember, March is Mars. So it's kind of like the Mental Martian Olympics month. And man, I like a good, fair competition. So she started talking about how Lemuria was a lost continent. This is time before satellites and television, news. So our understanding of the continents wasn't that great, dude. 18th century pirates weren't drawing base maps of the ocean floors. But so she started talking about Lemuria. It was a lost continent believed to have to have existed in the Indian or Pacific Oceans until it destroyed by a volcanic eruption. In one of the corners